Ever wondered why there are so many misconceptions and myths about blowjobs? It's a topic that's often whispered about, shrouded in mystery and misinformation. Today, we're going to shine a light on these misconceptions, debunking the myths that have long surrounded blowjobs, because it's not just about pleasure, it's about promoting sexual health and understanding too. So, let's put the whispers and giggles aside. It's time to get real, to get informed. Let's debunk some myths and learn more about this often misunderstood act. First off, let's debunk some common myths about blowjobs. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and we're here to set the record straight. Myth number 1, blowjobs can't transmit sexually transmitted diseases. This is absolutely false. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, oral sex can indeed transmit STDs like gonorrhea, syphilis, herpes, and human papillomavirus. So, protection is essential. Using barriers like dental dams or condoms can significantly reduce the risk. On to the second myth, blowjobs aren't as intimate as other sexual acts. Intimacy is subjective and varies from person to person. For some, blowjobs can be a deeply intimate act that involves trust and vulnerability. It's not about the act itself, but the emotional connection and communication that accompany it. The third myth we're tackling is the idea that all men love blowjobs. While many do enjoy them, not all men do, and that's perfectly okay. Everyone has different preferences and boundaries when it comes to sexual activities. A fourth myth suggests that performing a blowjob is degrading. This is a harmful stereotype that stems from societal attitudes and misunderstandings about sexual acts. The truth is, any sexual act can be empowering or degrading. It all depends on the context, consent, and the individuals involved. Lastly, the myth that blowjobs are easy. Like any other sexual act, they require communication, understanding, and practice. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation. What works for one person might not work for another. And that's why understanding your partner's preferences and comfort levels is crucial. To sum up, it's important to remember that sexual health and consent are paramount in any sexual activity. It's essential to dispel these myths to promote a healthier and more informed understanding of blowjobs. Now that we've debunked these myths, let's move on to understanding the importance of communication. Communication is key in any relationship, especially when it comes to sexual activities. You see, it's not just about the physical aspect, it's the emotional and mental connection that truly elevates the experience. And this connection is fostered through open, honest communication. When we talk about preferences, we're not just discussing likes and dislikes. We're creating a safe space where both parties can explore and express their desires without fear of judgment. It's about understanding each other's bodies, knowing what brings pleasure and what doesn't. Boundaries, too, are vital. They set the parameters of what's acceptable and what's not. They safeguard our comfort and dignity, and respecting them is a sign of trust and respect. And let's not forget consent. It's the cornerstone of any sexual activity. It ensures the safety and comfort of both parties. It's a mutual agreement that should never be assumed, but always explicitly given. Remember, good communication leads to a better and healthier sexual relationship. To wrap up, let's reiterate the key points we've discussed today. We started by unveiling a topic often shrouded in mystery and taboo: blowjobs. We've unearthed the truth behind the misconceptions, revealing that it's not an act of submission or an obligation, but rather an intimate act that can be enjoyed by all parties involved. Our journey then took us to debunking prevalent myths. We've learned that blowjobs don't have to be uncomfortable or unsanitary, and that with proper hygiene and consent, they can be a healthy part of one's sexual repertoire. It's important to remember that everyone's preferences and comfort levels are different, and that's perfectly okay. Next, we've underscored the importance of communication in sexual activities. Open dialogue about what feels good and what doesn't, setting boundaries, and discussing sexual health should be a cornerstone of any sexual relationship. It not only enhances the experience, but also builds trust and respect between partners. Our conversation today is a stepping stone to a broader discourse on sexual health. There's still a lot to learn and unlearn. Let's continue to educate ourselves and promote awareness, breaking down the walls of misunderstanding and stigma that surround our sexual lives. Thank you for joining us today. Remember, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to sexual health.